back, everyone. I am Jess.
Hungry.
Hello, everyone. So, what I'm going to be covering is from 2020 to 2024, and they are related in climate change. When people say climate change is not a real thing, let me tell you, it is. So, let me take you back to August 2020 when just a strike of lightning sparked the redwood forest in Big Basin, Santa Cruz. From that one spark of just lightning, and it had been like a dry year, it caught one tree on fire, which caught another one to another one. And before you knew it, 97% of Big Basin is burnt. There was landmarks that were destroyed. The railroad was one that was highly affected. There'd been the center that people could go and visit, get souvenirs, all burnt down. And it happened basically within just a couple days. The lightning struck at night, people got warned, and about maybe a couple days later, because it was burning for a while, they were trying to put it out. The whole entire forest was burnt, which I consider completely insane. That just a strike of lightning could have done that.
Think what year was that?
That was August 2020.
Yeah, I think I remember that because I think I was talking to my friends and my boyfriend about going camping out there, and then it burnt down like right after.
So, so that was actually the funny part about it too. Was my friend George and I were gonna go up there. I think that weekend or the following weekend because I was like, hey, it's been nice. Let's go to the Redwood Forest. And then next thing I know is I'm getting notifications and I'm getting texts from my friends and family being like, so, your hometown, Boulder Creek, Big Basin? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, so there's a fire and it's burning down. Like my cousin called me up and basically informed me, how does it feel that your childhood is just going up in flames? I was like, really? That
That's so rude.
I know. I was like, wait, back up. What do you mean going up in flames? He's like, the forest gone. It
That's so rude.
it is. And if any of you guys knew my cousin, you know the one I'm talking about. And
That one ended up destroying any homes. I don't remember if that was that just the forest or
yeah, surprisingly, it did not destroy any homes. It destroyed some buildings that were inside the big basin. Like it destroyed, yeah, the park. Like there was a couple centers and gift shops and anything that was kind of inside the park that got destroyed. Crazy. That's how 2020 got kicked off. And also remember during this time was the pandemic. Where not everyone knows about that. That was also 20. So, and it doesn't stop there. Then in June and July, this time of 2021, you get a little break and then next year comes along. The National Weather Service in Seattle reported its longest heat wave throughout the Pacific Northwest. This extreme event resulted in high risk heat related impacts, illnesses. Much of the population, especially the ones with heat sensitivity, because they just could not escape it. And there was at least 100 hospitalized. This heat wave occurred over just a week. And I remember this because I worked at a cupcake shop with my cousin, and our CEO decided, you know what? Everyone's going to want a cupcake. And, they had me working that day. I walk in, and there's my cousin with ice cubes in the sink. And he told me, cousin, put this over your head, take a couple ice cubes. We were working about 5 hours. I was like, what? So, yeah, we were taking turns going inside, in and out of the walk-in freezer that felt like you're walking under a shady tree. It was that hot. And of course, no one bought cupcakes. But I got to experience that firsthand, being in that hot weather.
How hot was it? How hot was it?
It reached up to, no, it was like 90 to 100, but to us that was deadly.
There are times in the summer where I wish it was 90 degrees here. Yeah, yeah, no, that's hot. That's hot for Seattle. And yeah, I don't understand why your boss would think that people would want cupcakes on that day. Because I know when it's hot, the last thing I want is like is a cupcake or like cake. Like I'll go for some ice cream, maybe a margarita, but definitely not looking for a cupcake.
Well, and that's the funny part is they had ice cream. I think that was her part of her pitch that she had told my coworkers, like, people are coming for ice cream. I'm like, nobody's coming in. I'm like, you're telling us you want us to work in this heat? It's still wear a mask, because at that time it was still mandated to wear a mask. And suffocated. It also affected Canada too, because and it affected all. This is the next thing. You see the ripple effects starting to happen. So because it was so hot, it melted glaciers, and those glaciers came down the hill a lot faster than people were expecting. And Canada's as cold as can be, and they have crap load of freaking mountains and glaciers and other things. Well, they got a flood because on top of that, after the heat wave, some rain came, and it started out in Seattle, not Seattle. It started out kind of in the Nooksack in Washington, right outside Seattle, Birmingham. Well, the Nooksack River overflowed, and then boom! All of a sudden, before you know it, there was a freaking lake in Abbotsford, which everybody was freaking out because the water just exploded. There was houses, there was buildings, all underneath water, and people were just like frantic. Like how could this happen? Like obviously the US didn't do their part. Like they let their river that was not super secured overflow, and now we have all this. Little did people know that flooding was just Mother Nature taking back. Where it flooded and it became a giant lake was actually over prior to 1920. It was called the Sumas Lake that covered a huge portion of the Fraser Valley farmlands, and it was drained because they realized the dirt and soil was good, so they drained it and turned it into farmlands, never expecting that they were going to get freaking heat waves, an atmosphere river of rain, and then an old lake taking back its form.
Did they not fill in the lake? Like,
No. So it was,
I mean, that was their first oversight.
yeah, that was their first over.
Maybe if you're gonna drain it, if you're gonna drain the lake, maybe you should fill it first. Not blaming the victims, but the city should have maybe thought of that.
Yeah, and and it's one of those things because at the time I was telling my fiance, I was like, James, like that's my fiance. I was telling him, I'm like, did you know there was a lake? And he's like, what do you mean there was a lake? I'm like, yeah, so back about 100 years ago. So I guess maybe your grandparents would have known their parents. There was a lake. It was called the Sumas Lake. It was huge, thriving with a whole bundle of fish and everything. And they decided to drain it because the soil was good and it would have made good farmlands. They did that, and up until this point of a heat wave and a atmosphere river, there was no one ever assumed that the lake was going to take back place, but it did, and now everybody knows that there was once a lake.
Hmm. Yeah. Mother Nature was like, "No, thank you. I'd like my spot back, please."
Exactly, and she did it in a very polite way. She only took back the part that they drained. She did not take any extra land. She was like, she's like, thank you for keeping this good for me. I like this. I'm taking it back. I figure that it doesn't stop there because, like I said, the chain reactions continued. But then you hit 2023 May, and again in Seattle, They had another extremely big heat wave that hit this one hit record high. It was like the same as the one that happened in 2021, but this time they called it record high because it beat it by just a couple more degrees. Before it was like 90, this one hit about 100, a little over 100.
That's crazy hot for Seattle.
Yeah, exactly. And they said this one it did the same thing. It caused so many flooding and mudslides. Just the Cascade was losing their shit because the Cascade is known for having a lot of the mountains and stuff. And the heat wave, then the river, and then heat wave again. It just melted, and this time it was just mudslides.
I wouldn't expect a heat wave to cause mudslides.
Yeah, they said the heat wave actually surprisingly the reason why it caused the mudslides is because when the snow was melting, it was the combo of just the snow and the gravel. So it was just the soil was already kind of soft, and when the snow melted too fast, it just clumped all together.
It like overwhelmed the waterways, essentially, the melting snow.
Exactly. The last one I have in December of 2024 in Santa Cruz, December 14th, a tornado touched down at 1:30. Just it went through, and it was actually a tornado. It wasn't just like a little sand one bit. People were like, "Oh no, it was an actual full tornado." It wasn't like an extreme big category 1 or 2, but it was strong enough that it ripped through. For those that know Santa Cruz, knows Scotts Valley, and for those watching that don't know, you have the Santa Cruz, California, and then about maybe ten minutes from Santa Cruz, the boardwalk area, you're gonna hit into a small town of Scotts Valley, and it's just like a little kind of cutesy little town that you kind of drive through. Well, that's where the tornado hit, and it flipped over cars. People had nowhere to go, known for tornadoes, so nobody was prepared. Everyone just kind of recorded it and was like, "I don't know what to do, but a tornado hit." Yep, it hit. So I won't be coming into work today, as you can tell. A tornado.
No, that sounds about right. Because no, I don't think anybody in California is prepared for a tornado. Because I don't remember when we had a tornado warning here, but it was like at 3 a.m. and I got like an alarm on my phone. It's not something we think about here in California or even prepare for. I didn't know what to do. I literally like heard the storm, walked outside, was like, I don't know.
Exactly. It's like, what are you really supposed to do at that point? It's like, we're not prepared for this. Like anyone that's in the California area, we know heat. We kind of know what to do when an earthquake hits, but like anything besides an earthquake, you're clueless.
And we recently just had a really bad storm. And apparently there were funnel clouds in the sky, the city over days ago. I feel like a tornado will cross city lines. I know that they didn't touch down, but it would have been nice to get like a warning, like on my phone, like, hey, we have funnel clouds. Like,
But tornadoes are one of those things. That the reason they call it a tornado, it flings, it flies, like it's
that should be the tornado's slogan is motivated wind.
yeah, yeah. It won't stop. It'll just be like it won't be like oopsies. Let me go say hello. Can I please come in? No, it's just gonna go fling fling. Right. It's motivated wind.
Motivated wind. Motivated to destroy a house near you.
Motivate, yeah, yeah. My splur about climate change.
I decided to do sinkholes since sinkholes was taken out of our very first video. I actually talked about how I'm terrified of sinkholes, but that didn't make it into the video, so I'm trying again. So, sinkholes they can be naturally occurring or man-made. One of the biggest factors in sinkholes is that acid rain actually helps them develop because it eats away the bedrock underneath the ground.
I was like, what do you mean they could be man-made? I didn't know sinkholes could be man-made.
Is into our very first video. How cute. Another reason to be scared of acid rain. Well, I mean, it's mostly from like mines. Like if you have like a mine underground and it caves in, and the ground above it gets weakened, and then sometimes that'll cave in, and that's kind of considered a sinkhole because we siphon water out of the water table. It lowers the water table and that weakens the land, so it makes it easier for sinkholes to develop. So, yeah, they can be caused by acid rain eating the bedrock, collapsing cave roofs, or lowering of the water table. Obviously, range in size. They can be pretty small and really deep, or they can be like hundreds of acres, which I wrote for us Americans, hundreds of acres could be more or less 50,000 bananas or 80,000 cheeseburgers. Yeah, so a sinkhole can be as big as 80,000 cheeseburgers for us Americans. That's a lot. So the very first sinkhole was found in Florida, in Tallahassee. And, experts found ancient tools inside from like 14,000 years ago. The biggest sinkhole in the world is in China, and I absolutely cannot pronounce its name, so I'm not even going to try. It goes by the nickname the Heavenly Pit, and why it's called the Heavenly Pit, I have no fucking idea because that's insane.
Yeah, I was just gonna say why about that. Maybe maybe it's in a heavily location. They just
Maybe it's like pretty, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really look into it. I was just like, that's not a good name for this thing. It's actually two pits. So the very first pit, or it's like two craters. The very first crater is a little over 1,000 feet, and the second adds another 1,100 feet, making it around 2,170 feet, 2,000 over 2,000 feet wide.
that's like absolutely insane.
It's huge. It's huge, and it's considered like a geological wonder of the world. Like it was formed in limestone. It was a limestone cave that had a river running through it, and that river essentially kind of carved it out. It was discovered by the Whiteys in 1994, but the Chinese the Chinese knew about this thing for centuries, but it was discovered in 1994 by us white folks.
We were like, look at the sinkhole, and the Chinese are like, yeah, we've known about that for years, but congratulations,
That's when it really became impressive.
we just saw it today.
White people are like, "Oh my God, look at this crazy discovery we made." And the Chinese people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about? It's been there for centuries." They're like, "No, we discovered this. This is our discovery." Second deepest sinkhole is called Dean's Blue Hole.
Dean's, Dean's blue hole. Is it like by water?
Yeah, it's underwater, so it's in the Bahamas, and it's 663 feet deep and 115 feet wide. And its total depth is 660 feet deep. Yes, this was first thought to be like the largest sinkhole until they found the one in China.
Till they found the one.
Apparently, this one's really pretty. It's got like tropical fish and like crystal clear blue water. Apparently, it's really pretty. I would never fucking go diving in it, but
I wouldn't, but I would totally look at it. I would sit on the surface and look.
yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Me too. Me too.
I have the fear of the water, but I'll look at it.
Look at it. I'll enjoy it from afar. Thank you. So in 2010, a free diver broke the free diving record without fins by diving into this thing. And how far do you think this guy dove into this fucking sinkhole? Without fins. And he didn't have fins or a breathing apparatus. He free dove.
I'm gonna go 30 feet, and I'm only seeing that because I've seen I was watching my TV show, and they said they could dive 30 feet. I don't know if that's real.
Yeah. He dove 302 feet free diving without fins.
How? How can you go 300 feet? That's insane.
Dude's a fucking fish.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was Aquaman.
Yeah, he dove 300 feet without assistance. He was free ball in the free dive. Crazily impressive. Mad respect to you. That's a no from me. I knew that humans could dive hella deep. I didn't expect them to be able to dive 300 feet. Yeah, apparently these people say that as you get deeper underwater, it's easier to hold your breath.
Yeah, that's okay, and I'm not willing to like test out that theory, so I'm good.
Yeah, so that's Dean's Blue Hole, some of the famous
I'm excited. I'm intrigued.
of this one, which I had never heard of. A sinkhole destroyed an ancient city.
Atlantis?
Close. Very close. This actually the city so I'm going to go by its nickname, which is the Atlantis of the Sand. I had never heard of this. So they found this ancient city and it had essentially fallen into a sinkhole. It was um well, there's some debate. Some people want to say that it's, let me see if I wrote it down. Debate on which city this is, but I think they wanted to say it was Dunbar or Dunbar.
Okay, yeah, I have heard of this. I don't remember where, but I have heard.
Oh, see, I hadn't heard of this. So I guess this town was like very famous for like trade and stuff, and it was famous and popular because it had a lot of water. But because people lived there and, people need water, they essentially lowered the water table and they ended up sinking into the sinkhole. The only thing was, I wasn't able to find how big the sinkhole was and if they think anybody died. I can't imagine what the people of the city thought. I mean, I don't think they knew what a sinkhole was, right? Their whole city just disappears. They're like, holy shit, the gods must be angry at me. Yeah, but they think this happened around 300 AD. But I thought that was interesting that the a sinkhole ate an ancient city. I had no idea. And then in 2007, a 330-foot deep sinkhole tore open Guatemala City, and this killed 5 people that fell into the sinkhole. I think this is the one that has the big, huge sinkhole in the middle of the town. And this sinkhole was created by leaking sewage pipes. So the pipes underneath the city were old and leaking and eroded. And it essentially, the sewage got into the limestone underneath the city and ate it away, and it just couldn't hold the weight of the city anymore, and it tore open a sinkhole, a huge sinkhole. And I'm really shocked that I haven't found, or I haven't didn't find any in the research that I did. I didn't find any sinkholes that killed a whole lot of people. I thought like these giant sinkholes would take whole apartments and just kill a lot of people, but I mean 5 people is still a lot. But I would imagine I would imagine that there would be more. But this happened again in 2010, where another sinkhole in Guatemala City opened up. This one was 290 feet, and it consumed a 3-story factory, but luckily nobody was in it, so nobody actually died in this one. This one was caused because there was a tropical storm happening at the time, and because they had bad sewage pipes underneath this factory. So again with the bad sewage pipes. And like get your sewage pipes fixed. I mean, if it's the safety of your citizens and the ground you step on.
Out of all fairness, some people are just not aware of even how to take care of a sewage pipe. I only say that because a little off topic was we just got a notice in our apartment that people are not knowing how to get rid of their grease and oil in the proper way. They're like, can you please not dump those down the sink? They're ruining our infrastructure and clogging up our drains.
My next one, I gotta get through these because I got more than you. I don't know how I end up doing this all the time. You need to have a limit. So I'll just keep researching. I don't give a shit. All right, in May 11th, 2010, in St. Jude, Quebec, a family of 4 fell into a sinkhole and they all died. They were in their basement watching TV when a sinkhole opened up underneath them. The sinkhole was 902 feet across. The whole family was found dead in the sinkhole. It's believed to have opened up because of heavy storms in the area that day. Caused that storm also landslide nearby. This one's crazy. This is my worst nightmare is this next one. Story was what I think kind of started my fear of sinkholes. So in 2013 in Florida, a sinkhole opened up. Imagine you're in bed and you're just chilling or sleeping, even sleeping maybe. You know how you have those dreams where you're falling, jump awake? This poor guy actually was falling, fell into a sinkhole. All his brother was in the next room. All he heard was a loud bang and his brother scream. He goes to run into this guy's room and he's gone. This like tiny, it's not tiny, it was like 16 feet. 16-foot sinkhole opened up right underneath this man's bed.
That's insane. That's terrifying. That's like absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, and it like to be like right under your bed while you're there, like what are the chances? And this guy's body was never found.
Well, that's the scary thing about sinkholes too, because you don't know how far down it went. Like, I couldn't imagine if that's the way you went, just sleeping and literally. And the thing is, that poor guy probably woke up halfway in the middle of that fall, and there's nothing he can do.
And they decided that the area was too dangerous and they demolished the house and they didn't recover this guy's body. So the crazy thing is, um, they tried to fill in the sinkhole. It reopened again in 2015. the same sinkhole.
Like at that point, they need to just like a demon.
And then it opened again. It opened again in 2023. The thing just keeps reappearing.
That is insane. That's incredibly insane. Like I feel like they need to put like a structure around it.
They did. They have a fence around it. This sinkhole is determined to get more victims. It is a sinkhole with motivation.
It's like, oh, you want to come? I'm hungry. It's like the Venus flytrap.
I'll be honest, when I was reading this, not that this guy who died in this sinkhole would think like me, because I am an evil, evil person. If that's how I died, and I was haunting the sinkhole, I would want someone down there with me. So, yeah. So if I ever fall into a sinkhole, I just want you to be very aware that I am coming for you. Because, I mean, that would suck to be stuck at the bottom of the sinkhole, just your ghost, looking up all alone. This sinkhole will not be filled. It refuses. It keeps opening up. It wants to consume.
At least they put something over it, being like, yeah, you're not going to consume any more victims. Like,
Well, it's just odd because it was such a small sinkhole. It was only 16 feet wide, and they determined that the area was too dangerous. And they demolished the house, and then they refilled it, and it opened up again. They refilled it again. It opens up again. Like, what the fuck is underneath this house? Or it's not a house anymore, but like, what's under the sinkhole that it keeps opening up?
that's yeah, that's a whole nother thing too. Is that would be interesting. Is like, is it tunnels? Because some places are built on top of old cities and towns and stuff like that. I'm like, was it built on top of something? Like, was it a bunker? Like, I feel like there has to be something underneath that space for it to keep opening. Because usually a sinkhole opens, you feel it, and you don't see it. But the fact that it keeps opening, it's insane.
And then I have in October 2018, a sinkhole opened up in Danzhou, China, and that killed 4 people. That's all the information I have on that one. This was another one I hadn't heard about. So we had talked about our childhood fears, and I did talk about sinkholes, but that got cut from our last video. I am on YouTube watching videos, and I want to say it was Scary Interesting. I was watching Scary Interesting, I believe. And this story popped up, and I hadn't heard about this one. July 22nd. A man and 50 other people are attending a pool party, and a sinkhole opens up underneath the fucking pool. Took place in Israel, and there is a video of it, and it looks like the pool is made in pools here in America, and they're like concrete. This pool looked like the bottom was like a tarp. It was really strange, like the way it like ripped open like it was fabric or something, but it was an underground pool. So, my two worst fears are sinkholes and a pool drain, and this poor man essentially got sucked into a giant pool drain of a sinkhole. Uh, it's sucked in. There's video of this thing, and it's sucking in all of the pool toys, all of the water. Um, there's like a guy standing like right above it, and he slips and almost falls into this fucking sinkhole. I'm like, why are you standing right next to the sinkhole that just ate a man? Maybe he didn't know it ate a man, but like, why? Why are you near it? Walk away from the sinkhole. Get away from the sinkhole that's gonna suck you in.
Yeah, no, I was like that. Oh, I feel like that can open up a whole new fear of not wanting to go in a swimming pool. I'm like,
Because you don't know what's underneath that bitch. Imagine just swimming, just chilling at a pool party, and you probably wouldn't even know what happened. Everything just went black for this guy. And he's like swimming around in this fucking sinkhole, doesn't know where to go. Like, he probably got sucked in so fast, he probably was shocked. You know how, like, you get scared and you, like, take a breath? Yeah, his body was found a few hours later. They pulled him out of the sinkhole. I would die instantly because I would be screaming the whole way while I'm getting sucked into this sinkhole in a pool. Did the drain just suck me in, or is it a sinkhole? I don't know. But apparently the people who owned the pool actually got charged because I guess the pool wasn't built correctly, like in regulation. It was like an illegal pool or something like that, and they actually got charged.
so not even that this poor guy lost his life. It was an illegal pool that got swallowed. So that there might have been a reason why that pool was even supposed to be built there, because it could have had soft soil, and they were just like, ah, we're good. Nothing's gonna happen. Build it.
So my next one took place in December of 2024. In Pennsylvania. This poor grandma was out looking for her lost cat, and she was later found. She had fallen into a sinkhole that had opened up above a mine shaft. Well, 30 feet into this sinkhole slash mine shaft that the top of it was like about as big as a manhole. Um, so she fell into it because she was looking for her cat at night. She probably didn't see that there was a hole there, and she fell. That she may have survived the initial fall because her body was found 12 feet from where the hole had opened up. So they think she may have crawled to try and get out. They didn't find her in time to save her life. She had her granddaughter with her, and she was in the car asleep and didn't realize. I think she was too young. She was too young to like really be able to help. I was not able to find updates on the cat. The cat was not found in the hole with her. But unfortunately, I don't have any updates on if the family. I don't have any updates on if the family found the cat or not. So I'm sorry about that. So in 2025, they're actually still trying to fill the sinkhole, which, I mean, it's a mine shaft. I don't know if you're going to be able to fill that. Home stretch. I got two more. So, a Brazilian town that I also can't pronounce. I'm gonna try. Bertucupu? I don't know. A Brazilian town. There's a Brazilian town that's being swallowed by 26 sinkholes. One sinkhole took 50 houses and three streets. Um, the residents are obviously terrified that there's no safe place in their town, which I'm with you on that. I agree. Very scary. Um, So they guess they get really heavy rains in this area, and that's contributing to the amount of sinkholes that they have. Um, so this has been a problem in this city for 30 years. No, I agree. The government there really needs to take their citizens' safety into consideration and maybe help these people move. It's hard to be like, well, you should just move because, their financial situation could be like ours. Like you're stuck where you are. But I mean, 26 sinkholes is insane. Your government should be helping you at that point. Somebody should be helping you. Currently, in 2025, um, over 1,000 people are at risk of losing their homes to these sinkholes.
Then why are they still letting people live there? Like, why don't you evacuate? I know it's easier said than done, but
Yeah, this town is like surrounded by just giant sinkholes. Just the big city next to these big giant sinkholes. I don't blame those people for being terrified. I So there's a town in Russia that has the same problem. City I can't pronounce. I'm not even gonna bother trying. I should take Russian. Berzinki? Berzinki? I don't know. I'm just fucking throwing syllables and shit out there. I'm trying. Berzinki. That's probably not even fucking close. This is the town in Russia. So this town was built on top of a large mine, which apparently was standard in Russia at the time. So, okay, get this. The pillars, like when you make a mine, you have to leave pillars up to hold the roof of your mine up, and usually they're natural. Um, so these pillars are made of salt. They're salt pillars. So I want you, with all of the information I've given you, to guess what happened to these salt pillars. Just guess. Yeah, guess what happened to them.
wouldn't they just crumble? Isn't salt like dirt? Wouldn't it just crumble?
Well, yeah, but what makes salt crumble?
I'm gonna guess water.
Yeah, it flooded. The mines flooded. Like, what did they think was gonna happen? They made pillars of salt and they flooded.
Oh my god. Because salt also eats away at stuff.
Yeah, the pillars were made of salt and it flooded, and the pillars disintegrated because water and salt.
Just, just, I can't. That's just, oh my gosh.
The biggest one, which the town gave a lovely nickname to, called the Godfather, 1,312 feet wide and 656 feet deep. So the the government there refuses to close this mine because money, and people still live there. People still live there because I guess this mine, like essentially, it's their economy. That's their economy. And they refuse to close the town and move people out. They're like, no, you're staying there and you're making us. Officials there monitor the city using like radar and stuff. So they basically take the heights of buildings. And if they see them starting to sink, they're like, oh, there might be a sink. So that's how they prevent more sinkholes from opening up and taking people. I didn't get any information on if any of these sinkholes had killed anyone. Like, I was expecting a sinkhole that opens up in the middle of the city to kill a couple hundred people. But the fact that they're only killing 5 people, 4 people, is kind of crazy to me. I mean, it's good. I'm glad I'm not like sitting here like, come on, sinkhole, step up your game and eat more people. I'm not saying that. I think it's suspicious that they don't kill more people. I would think that a, you know, 1,000 foot wide sinkhole would kill more than 4 people. That's my conspiracy theory. I think sinkholes kill more people and they just don't want us to know.
That's a good conspiracy theory, because it's one that actually makes sense if you really actually think about it.
And I don't know why they'd lie about it. Maybe somebody who's smarter than me could be like, you know what? They probably lie because there's mole people, or they probably lie because fucking aliens live down there. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe the aliens need test subjects, so they're like, oh yeah, this huge sinkhole that swallowed a whole fucking city block. It only killed 4 people. It's like because they're down there. Yeah, they're down there experimenting on people. I don't know. But sinkholes are scary.
That are, because you don't see them. They literally sink. It's a hole and you just sink inside and you don't even know. You don't even see it coming.
Yeah, I'm terrified of sinkholes. Terrified.
Terrifying news of the sinkholes, because sinkholes are no joke. There's swallow people whole. There's towns of sinkholes.
Whole towns are being swallowed by sinkholes. I'm gonna shout it to the internet. Towns are being swallowed by sinkholes. I'm sounding the horn.
Well, there you go, everyone. On today's episode, you experience the sinkholes and climate change, of weather, of heat waves and lakes coming to life again.
Of our cryptids and severed heads.
Oh, I like the cryptids. I think we should all call them. We should call you guys little cryptid heads. That's all. Yeah, all our cryptid heads out there. Just like and subscribe, and we'll see you again on Escaping Nightmares. I'm Jess. Bye.
I'm Brie. Bye.